Hi, my name is Dr. Maureen O'Neill, and today I'm going to show you how to start an NVivo project from scratch so that you are able to readily be aware of how to open up your NVivo icon, etc., and your project when you come into the workshop. So let's get started, and I'll just share my screen. So as you can see, to bring up a NVivo project, I've got one here. You'll be able to see that you simply go to your icon in your computer settings and it will be under QSR. So if you scroll down, you'll find that there is a QSR. I've got NVivo 11, which you should have loaded on. If you haven't got NVivo 11 loaded on and you're not through your university license, simply go to www.qsrinternational.com and download the downloadable 3 license that you can have for NVivo 11 on the front page when it pops up. So you just simply click on the icon and what will appear is the NVivo. Now I'm on Pro. There is an extension of this now called Plus, but at the moment most universities have Pro, and that's the one that our university has a license for. In any event, it all has the same interface when you come here to the blank page. Now you can open up a sample project, which is what QSR have already coded and gone through using environmental data, which is a very nice way of having a little tour through some of the tools and the ability to be able to code data. But if you just want to open up a blank project, you just click blank project, put a title in, a description. Now, the file name, this is important. You click browse. It wants to know, where am I attaching this project, this file to. Normally you could attach it to your documents. Most people may have F drive or H drive with their university, which is available for them to have at home and at university, which has a 24-hour save facility on it. You could attach it to that. I normally just attach it to my documents, and then when I'm working with my USB copied projects, I normally put them on the desktop and run them off the desktop, but always attach my main file back to my documents because that's a good save, and then save it there. Once you've done that, it will come up for you and I'll show you, but I just wanted to go and tell you about this. A lot of people ask me, what's all of this information here? This is all live data that's been streamed from QSR, and you're welcome to go and have a look at the online training or getting started guide, which is sitting right here, as something similar to what I'm doing right now. There are e-seminars available, blogs that you can look at, etc. So it's all there on the front page. Now, once you have entered and created your page, you can enter into a project. This is a project that we go through. It's our sample project that we've already started for you, but we just like to show you how to come in and actually start from a blank tablet, basically. Now, let me have a look at this interface. You will have all of these blank at the moment because we've created these for you, and we show you in the workshop how to start creating subfolders within this first major little section called internals. So here is the main tab going down on the left-hand side. This is the main section, if you like, one great big folder box, which is called internals. And internals are anything that you need within your project or your descriptive information. As you can see here, I've got the model that we run by, the literature review that I may need, any information that I'm writing on. It's sort of the great big section that I can put subfolders or subdrawers in and put all my information. Resources, as you can see here, the toolkit that I published some years ago, word tags that I think are really quite relevant. So, and of course, now, because I integrate Qualtrics, I run Qualtrics as well, I integrate my Qualtrics open-ended comments in a folder here that I can also readily access within the project and actually find some queries or go and do some queries on and combine it with my data that I'm looking at in other aspects of my research, which could be the interview stage or focus groups. So you can see that we've got this great big tab going down, internals being one big. Externals is anything external to the project that you can bring in. You can bring in YouTubes, as you can see here, this is what we've done. So it's external, and you can actually go up into, and we show you how to import that in when you come into the first workshop. This is just an overview of all the tabs to get yourself familiar with the interface of NVivo. So that's the sources, and as you can see, the sources has that little icon beside it of little folder drawers, which that's basically what it is. Each one of these has a section where you can import all of these sorts of documents in, and again, we show that when you come into the workshop. It's just simply a right click and you can import in any of these formats, and we show you how to do that. The second section is the nodes, and that's when you start coding and start getting, as you can see here, we've done a little bit of coding for you, and it's actually some of the themes that are coming out of the data or that you're seeing that are developing as a result of you analysing the data and the transcripts, and we show you how to create those nodes in the workshop. The next section is for classifications, and classifications could be, especially with literature, a classification of all of the imported data that you're bringing into the project, either from your EndNote or from NCapture, which is really important, or OneNote, or any of the other compatible programs. It will print up as a great big data sheet, as you can see. And we explain that as we go through the workshop. Collections are any sets of data that you may have started collecting, you know, in your nodes, in your sources not embedded. So it gives you a lot of ideas. Here is also a great idea of where you can go and see the memos that you're actually starting to make on all of your literature review, and even when you're doing your data. You can also see, you'll see also links, if there's any see also links, and we go through that because that's a way of showing all the authors and connected authors and with each of the body of the literature that you're looking at, and annotations could be anything that you're making about. Queries is the think tank. It's the big, as you can see, here's the results folder, and here's all the queries that I save into the project, the ones that I think are very valid and imperative to my analysis. And as you can see, there are various types of queries, the first one being a word frequency, as we've got here. But if I press to show you, there are many types, and we explain the difference between each of these queries when you come into the workshop. And all of these, in some of their format, can actually be run on your literature, and we show you how to do that. And of course, the next folder down is a big area, which is quite helpful actually. It actually summarizes all your reports, how many nodes that you have, the summary of your sources, your classifications, structure, etc. And you can actually right click on any of these, as I've done, and open the, or run the report and get a printout of a way in which your project is developing. So it is a good summary there. Maps is what we used to call the old models, and it allows us to run modeling, and there's three types of maps. There's the mind map, the project map, and the concept map. Now, normally I go in and create project maps, and it gives me a build of what's happening within my project. As yet, we haven't looked at that, but we do show you how to do that in the workshops. And then finally, you've got your folder collections. So this is like your think tank. This is like getting you close to your data so that you can actually go in and personally see what's in each of those folders, which is really important to keep close to that data and not get too far away from it. So it's all contained within this left section here. You can actually pull it out and give yourself more space to have a look at what is contained, or just like SPSS, you can move it across so that you've got more space over here. So that's just the first part of the interface. Up the top ribbon, you'll see that there's a lot of different tabs. The first one is the Home tab, and it's really very Microsoft compatible. It's very, once you get into your documents and open your documents, you can actually do any of the editing from here. When you want to create something, you can create it from the top ribbon, or you can right click down the bottom, and we show you that in the workshop. So it's very compatible, and there's a few ways of actually doing it. It's just the best way that you find to do it. Your data is all about bringing sorts of data sets in from other programs, a data set in a CSV format from Qualtrics, for example, that you've exported out, and from other sources that you can do. So it's very compatible. The other thing that is really good that you can actually go and have a look at is how to actually copy, and actually have a look at copying your project so you don't lose it. And I'll just walk over in this direction to actually give you the idea of how to actually copy your project. Most importantly, you need to always, and that's what I'm doing to actually make sure that we've got a copy here of our project, is to go up into this left-hand corner up the top here called File. Now, File allows you to do a couple of things, and the most important one is to actually, you've got copy your project, and you can copy your project by naming it and then copying it as an NVivo 11 for Windows project. Browse to where you actually want it copied and download it there. And then you know that not only have you got to save every 15 minutes, and I'll show you when it pops up here, you need to click the save every 15 minutes for it to save. If you don't, you will lose data. So it's very important when that prompt comes through that you actually save your data. Going forward here into Analyze, this is the think tank again too. We're not down in queries. So if we go into queries and press query, for example, you can actually do all the generation of your types of queries from the top ribbon, or if you prefer, a right click in a white space and create it from there. So there are various options of actually utilizing this. Explore is going a little bit further, and that is in the higher part of the analysis that we look into. You can then have a look at View. Now, View is an important one because some people like to actually have the view where you look like a book from left to right, as you can see here, or you can go bottom up, and that's another type of it. That's just a preference. So you can actually see that you can actually go into a source, and you can actually bring up the source and open the document, and you can either put the view from left to right, or you can have it bottom up, such as that. And then you have the document. I normally like the left to right view, so I just do that. Also in View, you can also, in the main view, see what you need to actually go and have a look at in bringing up when you've done certain analyses. If you bring up your sources, if you go to anything that you've done just recently in your literature review, you can actually, I'll just move that up to there. If I don't want to know the references and it's quite spaced out, I can go into View, and I can actually reset all the customization to only display the columns that I need to see. So that's sort of personalizing it for you, which is really good. Or I can actually go into any other aspect of it and just personalize the view for me. Finally, it's really important that you always make sure that you make NVivo work for you, which is really important. So it's really important that you have it the way that you feel comfortable with the actual way in which you're using either the top ribbon or a right click on a white space and utilize it from there. We actually go into all of the content part and the procedure part of how to actually run any of these queries and how to actually do it. So that's what we do in the main workshop. But it's most important that before you start, that you have all your documents already ready, and that your documents are downloaded in a folder, so that you've organised before you've come into the project. So it's all organised, and as you can see, you've created these folder boxes. And when we go into sources to create these folder boxes, it's just simply we press on the main hierarchy word, which is internals, right click and create new folders, and then a new folder creates, and then we can put a name in. We go through that all in the workshop, but that's how we get multiple folders in there. But it's most important to have a look around the program, see what is available. If we come back to sources, you'll see that we've spoken about internals and externals. Memos is a section that you have created a link between any of your documents, and you need to come back to that or make a note for yourself. And the final one there is framework literacies, and this is a final stage that we recommend you to go into, and it could be that you like to actually write up or list all your authors down the side here and put all the information into here. And we actually find that you can actually do this easily with authors, for example, at the end, but we go through that. So that is the final level, but there is possibility for you to utilise and to even write up in NVivo, or if you have a compatible program that, such as Scrivener, that you like to export to, you can export in Word doc form and put it over to Scrivener. And again, at the end of the workshop, there's just a slight ability to be able to see how to do that as well. But in general, we normally can do everything within the program and keep it contained. And the great thing about containing it within the program is you've got all the data there and it's all organised for you. So I hope that you've had a look at our interface, how to actually look at some of the wonderful ways in which this program works. It's very Microsoft compatible, so if you're good at that, that's fine. We have also given you hints that if you're a Mac user, how to run parallels to perhaps get some of the more increased functions that the Windows license provides for you. So I hope that you've had a nice view through NVivo at the moment. And I look forward to seeing you in the workshop and giving you more comprehensive information about how to do all the various functions. Thank you.